Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Sunday morning to you all. Hope you guys have been having a great start to your day and a great weekend out there so far. Got you an update, as always, on what potentially could unfold today. Expecting some pretty active weather again from the same upper trough that's going to keep swinging through areas of southeast Canada and the Great Lakes region, things like that. And it's going to promote a big-time severe weather threat for portions of the Northeast and the Ohio Valley. So we're going to focus in on that first, talk about what you guys could expect up there. Hope everybody has stayed safe from yesterday's event. Didn't hear and nothing too crazy that evolved yesterday, so we're all grateful for that. But if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Hit me up with any prayer requests in the comments. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to pray over it also. So sorry about the evening video last night. Anyway, really, I was going to talk about the tropics, but honestly, throughout the entire day yesterday, confidence actually decreased on anything forming. The EPS ensembles actually dropped, not completely, but dropped substantially the signal I was going to talk about. So there's no point in talking about something that we're just not very confident on yet. So things just can continue to be slow. But I think the tropics are going to start to heat up again, and at least by early August. But anyways, let's get rolling here so y'all can go on and get on with your day here. Water vapor loop, upper trough swinging through. This has promoted severe weather threat over the last few days across portions of the country, and will do so again today. Now, another complex of storms is plaguing the same region that was hitting this same region yesterday morning. It's hitting a region again this morning. If you hear my kids in the background, we're getting ready for church, so you might hear some screaming in the shower out in the distance or something. But anyways, there's an area of storms moving through the Ohio Valley, moving through areas of northern Indiana, starting to move into northern Illinois, starting to move into northern Indiana, and it's even in areas of also in southern Michigan. So a lot of heavy rain with this, nothing severe. There is severe weather over here near the Pittsburgh area where there's a complex of storms moving through. That will probably diminish, but we'll watch what kind of energy develops in this region today. There's multiple areas that we need to watch. How will they congeal together? What will be the dominant feature today? And we'll have to watch for that for sure. But moving forward here, you got an enhanced risk. I was not expecting this, but this is an enhanced risk for big cities like Rochester, New York, Buffalo, almost all the way to Cleveland. So this includes the entire northwest region of PA, small area of northeast Ohio, and a pretty large area of western New York State, and then a pretty large slight risk. You guys could see severe weather in this too, but an enhanced risk is a level 3 out of 5. It's a pretty big deal, guys, especially this time of the year, but it's not totally uncommon. But at the same time, it kind of is uncommon, if that makes any sense. But a 5% chance at the highest area to see a tornado at 25 miles in any given location. This includes areas like Buffalo, so some bigger cities in here. But the biggest threat with this severe weather threat today is damaging winds. You don't have a hatched region up, but you have a 30% chance in the enhanced region to see damaging winds today. That's 50 knots or higher, which is equivalent to 55 to 60 miles per hour are possible with some of these storms. So, and some of it could be more. The hail threat with this is just not that big of a deal today. That's not going to be driven. The dynamic features aloft just is not supportive of a big hail threat today. So we don't have that to really worry about too much. There will be a flooding risk where these storms like to continue to go over the same regions, which will be the case. It's not just one dominant feature out here. It's a couple different pieces of energy that keep coming together and then have a chance to come together, or just be its kind of own entity, if you will. So we'll see what areas get hit over and over again, because those areas that do get hit over and over again will have a flooding risk, and that looks to be the highest, where you got a slight risk for this region in yellow right here. So National Weather Service with the watches and warnings. It's heating up again around this heat dome. Excessive heat warnings up for areas of northeast Oklahoma, and you got heat warnings, heat advisories up for all these orange counties right here. So hot for the same areas. Only difference is you're going to have heat advisories in southern sections of the Ohio Valley today, which has not seen it so much. So it's going to heat up. Intense heating going to occur. The atmosphere is going to destabilize. And it's going to be some nasty heat today. It's going to be very hot, just as hot today as it was yesterday. In the areas of the Northeast, excessive heat warnings up again for areas of New Jersey, PA, and even Delaware. Same counties as yesterday, just about. It's just going to be a hot day in New England also, very warm. So we'll focus in on the severe weather threat first. We'll start this off around, well, right now. And the HRRR model tries to pick up on that energy a little bit further to the west of the graphic you're looking at. This continues to move through. We're starting to get into about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we're starting to get into later in the afternoon, probably pushing at this point, probably around, I'm brain farting here, probably around dinner time. And these storms start to enter. They start to knock on the door of areas like Dayton, Ohio, start to get close to Columbus. Now, as I always say, you look at this and don't look at this and say, this is exactly where the storms are going to be. I'm going to hold strong to what I'm saying here. Don't do that, because you're going to be frustrated and disappointed. But this is a chance of where these storms could potentially be later this evening. But we're getting into late at this point. So I think the biggest severe weather threat will probably be later this evening for areas of Indiana, Ohio, as an area of energy will probably kind of cut off and start to sag south rather than maybe move east. So this continues to dip south, hit Columbus, Dayton. This is where a lot of heavy rain could potentially fall to. Cincinnati might be knocking on your door around midnight or late evening, something like that. But then these storms start to kind of dissipate. So I think this area will get hit more so later this afternoon into this evening, into when the sun goes down. But we'll watch up here, and we're getting into about mid-morning, maybe a little complex of storms. I can tell you that this isn't picking up on them storms around Pittsburgh this morning very well. That's why I'm telling you these models aren't gospel. It's just something we can try to look at and figure out. We're getting into about not midnight, until around lunchtime, maybe Rochester, Syracuse getting hit with some storms. But I can tell you right now, that's not going to be the main event. We're starting to get into 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Another intense area is this area of storm will form, kind of probably in and around the Buffalo, Rochester area, and then start to move east. These are the storms we watch out for. This is getting into about mid to late afternoon. These storms will be the ones that have that big time damaging wind threat. So, we're getting into about 5, 6 p.m. At this point, Syracuse getting hit very hard, maybe around dinner time. And these storms will continue to move through and get into eastern areas of New York State and maybe knock on the door of Albany and maybe around 7, 8 p.m. tonight. And I think this will be the main feature. So, where does this form? Does it form a little bit further west or a little bit further east? It's a big question here, but just know if you're in this region of New York State today, I think you'll have to stand the biggest chance of seeing the worst weather. And then more showers and storms will move into the picture a little bit later. This might promote a flooding threat, but these storms could pack a punch too, a little bit more so overnight. And then you get into Maine, and then you guys, maybe a little bit later this afternoon, some big storms could move through. Watch out in northern Maine, you guys could get into some action. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be too bad up in Maine today. But very hot temperatures. The kind of the same thing, almost a carbon copy of what we talked about yesterday. Boston, well into the 90s, might be one of your hottest days of the year in Boston. New York City, very hot. New Jersey, getting up to 100 degrees, probably somewhere in New Jersey, especially interior sections away from the coast. And then Virginia, Maryland, certain areas in southeast PA could potentially get over 100 degrees. It's going to be very hot, one of the hottest days of summer, if not the hottest day of summer. And very big time intense heating occurring in northern Kentucky, southern Ohio, just southern Ohio Valley in general, where the atmosphere will really destabilize and kind of ahead of any complex of storms that develops there later this evening. Rain for the southeast. Really, this is outflow boundary driven. Anything that develops is just going to be very pulse in nature. Yesterday was a perfect example of a pulse day here in South Carolina. They'll kind of pulse up these storms, kind of create a circular outflow boundary, and then they will kind of almost choke itself out with rain-cooled air, and then they'll dissipate. And if you just happen to be under one of these, it'll probably last no more than 25, 30, 35 minutes, if that, and then it'll be over. And then you move on through, and then the sun probably comes out, 20 minutes later. But I think it'll be more widespread coverage in southern sections of the southeast, like southern Georgia, southern Alabama, northern Florida, but you're going to have some isolated downpours to develop, and it's going to be next to impossible to figure out where this happens. It's one of those 20-30% chances of storms days in the southeast, but you never know when you're going to be that 20 or 30% chance. Hot. It's very hot. Dog days, a summer type day in the Carolinas, the Southeast, Georgia, Alabama. I mean, it's just going to be typical late July kind of weather. Very hot. Arkansas, in southern Missouri, Oklahoma, eastern areas of Texas. Very, very hot. Y'all guys have seen it the last couple weeks. It's going to continue to be brutal out there. And hopefully one of these days you guys can cool off. Maybe August will not be as bad for you guys, but August can be even hotter than July. That certainly is the case sometime here in South Carolina. But the north central U.S., a beautiful summer day, below average temperatures in the 60s for certain areas of the north central U.S., like northern Minnesota. I mean, it's going to feel like a very early autumn day in certain areas. You might have some showers that kind of swing through northern Michigan, come across Lake Superior. But, I mean, it's not going to be any storm action or anything like that. And then maybe a little bit later you get a piece of energy that moves into Nebraska, kind of wrapping around that heat dome with that monsoon trough, kind of interacting. But look at these temperatures today. I mean, it is going to be nice. I'd love to be up in here today. It's going to be kind of almost cool for late July standards in areas of northern Minnesota. But it'll be nice. It'd be nice. I mean, you guys are going to be enjoying a very, very comfortable summer day, that's for sure. You move down to the south central U.S., maybe some isolated pop-up downpours, something like that. Louisiana, southern Mississippi, you guys could see some tropical downpours, but not seeing any widespread rain. The heat dome is setting up right here, so you got a flow around this heat dome, and you can actually see the directional pull around this heat dome. Watch out, these showers form up here, and then they start to dip back down southeast and south. It is wrapping around a heat dome setting up right here. So you got sinking air under the dome, which sinking air is a no-no for convection. You're not going to have any kind of showers and storms right over here. If you do, they'll be very pulse-like in nature. They'll form, bubble up, and probably dissipate in 20-30 minutes. But, you might be that lucky soul that ends up getting it. Right here, the south central U.S. is very hot temperatures. We know this already. Nothing compared to what y'all have seen, and nothing different compared to what y'all have seen is what I meant to say. But very hot temperatures, hundreds for Oklahoma. Almost everybody in the state of Oklahoma will get over 100 degrees a day. Arkansas, I mean, I don't know how y'all are. I don't know how y'all are dealing with it out here. I don't. I mean, it's been in the hundreds for almost 3 weeks straight, it seems like, and this is brutal out there. So praying for you guys with the heat. Hopefully you guys get some widespread rain soon. Maybe a cold front would be nice for you folks, but that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a blessed Sunday, and I should be with you guys this afternoon.